Good morning. We are now on the record. So we're taping the hearing, and so we have an audio device going. And I think that they're filming this as well. My name is Tom Roshar. I'm the South Central Region Supervisor in the Air Management Program for the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. And I've been assigned to do today's hearing. There's a little bit of feedback, but I think he's probably adjusting.
Do you think people in the back can hear? Yes?
Is it okay? I have with me a couple representatives from the Department of Natural Resources. At the podium here with me is Jonathan Wright, who is the Air Management Construction Permit Engineer from our Oshkosh office, who prepared the permit documents. And you may have met Mike in the back, who's standing, and he is the compliance inspector for this source, and he works in the Reedsburg office. The department has set the public hearing at this time and place, which is Friday, May 8th, 8:15 a.m. at the Lake Mills Municipal Building, 200 Water Street, Council Chambers, 2nd floor, Lake Mills. This is a public hearing to present information and receive comments regarding an application by Unlimited Renewables for an air pollution construction permit. The number is number 14 JJW 233. The notice for this public hearing was published in the Wisconsin State Journal on April 18th of 2015. This hearing is being held pursuant to sections 285.13 and 285.61 of the Wisconsin statutes and chapters NR 2 and NR 406 of the Wisconsin Administrative Code. This is a non-contested case hearing, and as such, cross-examination of anyone making a statement is not allowed. However, questions of a clarifying nature will be allowed. In addition, oral statements are allowed. In lieu of or in addition to an oral statement at today's hearing, written comments will be accepted by the department through May 18th of 2015. Written comments should be sent to Mr. Jonathan Wright at the DNR, Northeast Region Air Program, Oshkosh Service Center, 625 East County Road Y, Suite 700 in Oshkosh, 54901-9731. The department will also accept fax and email comments. The fax number is 920-424-4404, and the email address is Jonathan, Jonathan, .Wright, WRIGHT, at wisconsin.gov. Written statements will have the same weight and effect as oral statements presented at today's hearing. All statements, both written and oral, will be considered with respect to the department making a determination on whether it should issue or deny the air pollution control construction permit. How the remainder of this hearing will work is as follows. After my introductory remarks, we'll provide a short description of the proposed project covered by the construction permit. After that presentation, I will call on those who have indicated on their appearance slips an intention to make an oral statement to come forward and make their statement on the record. We have, I think, 4 people interested in making a statement at this point in time. If you change your mind and want to, let me know, and we'll take care of that. I may limit each person to 5 minutes. If more people want to make statements, we'll make that determination as the hearing moves along. I understand that you may have questions related to the project. Please note that we cannot answer statements that are posed as questions. At the conclusion of the formal portion of the hearing, DNR staff will remain for a time for an informal question and answer period, and if you have questions, you may ask them then. I was asked to inform everybody that we cannot answer questions about the avian influenza detection in the area, and have worked with the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection, and they would like to receive your questions, and they've offered to have Rachel Klein answer them for you. Her number is 608-224-5005, They've also asked me to say that if you see dead birds, please call 1-800-572-8981 to report your observations. Before we continue, are there any questions on procedure? I don't see anyone. Okay. Jonathan, you have the floor.
So to give a brief description of the project, they've applied for a construction permit to come out from under the registration operation permit that they're currently operating under. They, if anyone doesn't know, manufacture fertilizer from primarily chicken manure. They take the layer manure from the hens, put it in a building for storage. Once they've accumulated enough, they front end load the material into a natural gas fired manure dryer. It goes through the dryer and then through conveyors ends up on a compost pile for approximately 7 days. After that period, it then goes through conveyors, through a mixer where they add nutrients or whatnot to bring it up to the level that will establish it as a decent fertilizer, and then pass it through a pelletizer operation. The pelletizer, once it's passed through the pelletizer, it can either be directly loaded out as pellets, it can be bagged, it can be passed through a crumbler machine that breaks up the pellets and then bagged again. So it's technically a relatively simple operation. And that's unlimited renewables in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Well, we're going to get into the oral statements part of this. I'll first call on Anita Martin to make a statement.
Remember, Anita, you don't have to lean in.
No, I'm used to using a microphone, sorry. My name is Anita Martin, and I'm speaking on behalf of Citizens for a Better Environment, CDE Lake Mills. First, we would like to thank the DNR for holding this hearing. Second, we would like to thank the City of Lake Mills and the Town of Lake Mills for videotaping this meeting, and to everyone for making time to attend. Our group hired an independent engineering firm to review the application for the new permit, the permit documents, and the permit draft. The review was done by an air pollutant and control engineer with 30 years of experience. Mr. Steve Klafka, Wingra Engineering, has concluded that the new permit Unlimited Renewables LLC has applied for, permit number 14 JJW233, should not be issued for a number of reasons. One of the main reasons is that based on the figures provided, Unlimited Renewables appears to be in violation of their current generic air pollution permit requirements. The volatile organic compounds, chemicals, the VOCs the company has been putting out are much higher than they initially anticipated and higher than the current permit allows. The 2013 production figures show that they emitted 44.9 tons, and that compares to an allowed level of 25 tons per year. So that's more than 1.5 times allowable level. As far as the new permit goes, a couple of areas that we wanted to mention that are areas of concern, and one is the biofilter, the other is the odor control plan. A biofilter on the manure dryer would help reduce the VOC emissions, which is a requirement that the VOC emissions by state law stay within a certain level, and it should be installed as the company told the DNR it would in 2013. I'm providing a copy of correspondence from John Weiss, who it was or is the COO, to Thomas Rochar back in 2013. Biofiltration is used for a similar manufactured dryer in Palmyra, Wisconsin, with good results. And that facility is permitted by the DNR in the same manner in which this particular company is seeking a permit. A biofilter has the added benefit of helping with ammonia and formaldehyde, both of which have tested high, as well as viruses. Our engineer calculated that a biofilter would run the facility $5,000 to $10,000 per year annual capital and operating cost, which is much less than the figure Unlimited Renewables provided of $198,000 per year, making a biofilter much less expensive and conceivably more affordable. So we think there may have been a miscalculation or a mistake made in the permit application on that point. The third point to be made, which is really important for us as residents, is that the company has not submitted a malodorous emissions control plan to review. That's a big mouthful, but it's an odor control plan. And it's required as part of their permit. They have a certain period of time, which very likely that time frame may be adjusted because they need to do testing. And right now, with the avian flu, that is not possible. I would like to address next the odors in our community. Last month, our group mailed out a self-addressed stamped survey to Chamber of Commerce members about odors in our community. To date, 34% of people that received the anonymous survey returned it. One of the key questions we asked was, how often do you experience an unpleasant odor in Lake Mills? 52% of respondents said they frequently experience unpleasant odors in Lake Mills. We also asked if they had anyone visit their home that made comments about the odors. 38% said people who have visited their homes have made comments. 70% of respondents said that customers or patrons at their business or workplace have made comments about unpleasant odors. 62% of those respondents said they had to close their windows, move indoors, and/or change their plans. Additional comments have included, I had a person not be able to work here because of the chicken farm odor. I knew about the smell before I moved here. It's just part of this town, like Rock Lake. Sorry, that one kind of gets me. We don't like the chicken crap, sorry, that's not the best word to use, but that's verbatim, in Lake Mills. The chicken crap smell in Lake Mills. Our communities often teased about Lake Mills' horrible smell. Affects property values, especially around the lake. The smell odor will have a direct impact on whether people decide to move here or not. People have talked about moving here but don't want to because of the smell. People are crabbier, and this was regarding during times when the odors have been strong. At a community meeting held last month, we asked people at the meeting to respond to a near identical survey with one addition. We added the question, have you ever had a physical reaction upon smelling odors in Lake Mills? If yes, please specify. For example, nausea, burning of the eyes or throat, etc. 35% of respondents said that they have had physical effects. We know that ammonia is very irritating to the eyes, nose, lung, and airways, which is another good reason to put in a filter. And I will mention, because it's not within the normal scope of the legislation for them to be regulating ammonia, because this apparently is considered an agricultural operation. One could kind of question that since there are no animals. It's the processing of manure, it's a manufacturing process. But the fact of the matter is the biofilter would help with the ammonia, and the ammonia is one of the things that we detect. The ammonia and the hydrogen sulfide are the things that we're smelling. We have tracked odors, and we just double-checked something using Google Chrome, and we have tracked an odor 4.25 miles earlier this year from the facility. That's by way of that crow, you know that crow. We know that the Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection is using a 10K radius, which is over 6 miles, in quarantining, say that again, around the 3 facilities in Jefferson County affected by the avian flu. And briefly, I did want to demonstrate that we did some tracking during February and March, and you can take a look at this. The wind direction is shown, and then where odor was detected. The red indicates these were times when Unlimited Renewables was operating. They were actively processing manure. There were no other sources of odors identified in any kind of a quantifiable or verifiable manner on the days that these were detected, these smells. The blue ones here that you will see are taken on days where the facility was not operating according to the information we've been provided. And you will see by way of examination that on those days, no odors were detected. So we've been able to show with our data that the days that they are processing manure, there are odors emanating, and you'll see, these are bodies of water, these are sensitive ecological areas. You can take a look. On the days that they're operating, there are odors very predictably in accordance with the wind direction. We also want to note that wind direction in Lake Mills changes frequently. We use weather underground history on the internet to determine the wind direction when we get odor reports. And sometimes within a 20-minute period, there's a substantial shift in the direction of the wind and the wind speed, and also the wind gusts, which we think, depending on the atmospheric conditions, and wind is very complicated, but the wind gusts can have a difference in terms of how far the odors follow. So we'll have that available, and again, thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Anita. Next, Robert Gumbs.
Yes, I'm speaking on behalf of Aaron Johnson, my neighbor and friend. Just read a letter he has typed up. To the parties above and whom it may concern, a recent letter to the editor that appeared in Lake Mills Leader on April 23rd, 2015 stated that Wisconsin state law requires the DNR to consider all written and verbal comments in deciding the status of the proposed permits, as well as the final contents of the permits. It is with respect to this statement that I submit the following for consideration. I have spent 3 days this week at Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota with my wife, Lois Johnson, and went through 3 days of various tests. Lois' main health issue is that her lungs have been damaged by COPD and cancer. Lois recently celebrated her 80th birthday, and her immune system is very fragile. Mayo Clinic has many concerns about the air quality that Lois is exposed to. There is a forum scheduled in the city of Lake Mills today, Friday, May 8th. The scheduled topic of concern is the odor problems for the city and surrounding areas. Our home is located within eyesight of frequent farms, Daybreak Foods, and Unlimited Renewables. As you can imagine, because of our close proximity to the applicant, the undesirable impact of air quality is significantly more severe to us. The citizens leading the May 8th forum are mainly concerned about the odor. Although the odor is concerned to us, more serious is what is in that air that is so detrimental to my wife's lungs and also to the health of other family members of living in this location. To prepare for this letter, I reviewed my files and found the following items. A letter from Kristen Hart, DNR Section Chief, dated July 27, 2012, to Unlimited Renewables. This letter contained the following requirements. By August 15, 2012, complete construction of a manure dryer stack. The Type A registration permit requires that emissions be vented from the stacks that are vertical, unobstructed and taller than nearby buildings. By November 15, 2012, based on stack results submitted to the DNR, your determination on the type of control device you will install and your proposed date to complete installation of the control equipment. By the 15th day of each month, beginning in August 15, 2012, submit progress reports on the meeting schedule. My question to the DNR staff, have the items like the above have been complied with? I do not see such described stacks. A letter from Bart Sponseller, DNR Bureau Director, Bureau of Air Management, dated December 2012, to Aaron Johnson, listed the following requirements. Unlimited Renewal will be implementing the following measures: raising its dryer stack and adding a cyclone separator to control dust. Install 3 biofiltration units to reduce odor causing organic compound emissions from manure drying operations. This work is ongoing. More units are slated to be installed until 100% of the exhaust gases are controlled. A A letter from Kitty Rhodes, Secretary of Wisconsin Department of Health Services, dated October 10th, 2013, to Aaron Johnson, listing the following requirements. As of July 13th, 2013, a DNR Air Management Bureau has taken legal steps towards unlimited renewables regarding this issue. I personally wonder if the approach has accomplished anything or if anything has ever happened. A letter from Bart Sponseller, Director, Bureau of Air Management, to Aaron Johnson are requiring the following. These activities include conducting preliminary air emissions tests by October 6, 2013, submitting a final design of biofilter or other controls based on these tests by November 21st, 2013, and installing a final biofilter and control device within 6 months following final design. In an established fact that since 2011, under Governor Walker and DNR Secretary Kathy Stepp, the DNR has shifted emphasis toward quickly providing emission permits to businesses and away from enforcing against polluters and scientific studies of emerging problems. On December 3rd, 2012, DNR engineer Mark Kane held a public hearing for renewal of the DNR permit to unlimited renewables in Lake Mills. At this time, I posed the following question to Mr. Kane. If a permit renewal time, the problem has not been resolved, will you reissue the permit? Mr. Kane's answer was yes. It's pretty obvious to me that no one cares about my wife's health to do the job we as taxpayers expect to be done. Shame on these individuals. I am at a complete loss of words to describe the total failure of our health department to act. They continue to hide under a rock. There's an old saying, you can find something good in everything. The good is the situation. The assessor of the town of Lake Mills has lowered our taxes on our real estate by 10% because of the unhealthy air quality. My records show that the weeks have turned into months, the months have turned into years, and the problem still remains. I believe people will have to accept the fact that none of our officials really care about our health, they only care about their jobs. After all the time you have allowed unlimited renewables to solve the environmental problem, it baffles me how intelligent, responsible people would issue a permit to allow this environmental situation to continue. Respectfully, Aaron Johnson.
Thank you, Robert. Was Aaron going to make a statement or just, I don't know where he is, so. Okay. If he wants to, we can do that. Ronnie Monroe? Yes.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
I don't hear very well, so.
Okay.
Did you want me to do something?
Oh, I was wondering if you wanted to make a statement as well.
No, my statement's in the letter.
Okay,
okay.
just checking, thank you. You can sit here, please. Yeah.
I'm not used to sitting when I speak, so. I'm sure you've all heard this line lately a lot in the news. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a scientist either, but I have a background in public health. I also learned a lot from a children's book called The Lorax, and it addresses how biggering and biggering is not a very good idea for industry. As I said, my background is in public health, and I'm concerned about several things related to unlimited renewables. I'm concerned about the dust, and more specifically, what the dust is composed of. It is composed of not only manure, but also the bodies of dead chickens. And in addition, volatile organic compounds. I'm also concerned to have found myself living at ground zero of an H5N2 outbreak. I cannot tell you how fortunate you and myself all are that this is not an H5N1 outbreak. We would not all be sitting here today. My flock is also quarantined along with 90 other backyard and barnyard flocks. I think it's interesting that out of those 90 flocks, none of them, other than the large CAFOs, has contracted this. I think that that's a testament to what good animal husbandry is. I'd also like to say that it's ludicrous to think that the manure disposal practices of these large facilities do not impact on animal health around animals around us, not to mention our human health. My husband and my grandchild, who lives with me, both have asthma. My grandson is only 5, and he's on medication. I'm concerned with what is being emitted from unlimited renewables because a lot of the people with asthma and COPD and autoimmune diseases and cancer that are on cancer chemotherapy have compromised immune systems. So they are even more vulnerable to what is being spewed out of that facility. This is actually very emotional. It's very difficult. I've had contact with the DATCP. They've been up to my house twice to test my birds. And they've been very gracious and very kind. And they've also been very honest. They do not know what's causing this current outbreak or whether or not this could mutate at some point to affect humans. I don't know enough about unlimited renewables processing of this manure. I live on the other side of town, and I can smell it. I'm also subjected to manure from other CAFOs that are closer to me. I'm actually under quarantine from 3 different CAFOs that have it right now, so I can't sell any eggs or have anything leave my property. I really feel badly for the people that have to live with this all the time, and I just don't think that it's reasonable or fair that people should be ill, possibly lose their lives for another person's profit. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Bill Banbury? I think I'm reading this that it shows Bill Badbury wants to make a statement, but maybe I'm just misreading it. Is there a bill in the House? Okay. I have a question mark from, do you wish to make an oral statement? And there's a question mark from Charles Roy. If you would like to. Okay.
Does anyone know the gentleman with the baby outside? He might be one of the 2 people.
Okay. And then we had a couple people walk in during the hearing. If you would like to make a statement, we'll need you to fill out an appearance slip and indicate so, and we can take that time. And the other people that filled out appearance slips either left them blank or said no. So, have I missed anybody that wants to make a statement?
I was going to make a statement, if that was all right.
Yes.
Okay. I'm Matt Gardner. I'm the managing editor of a local newspaper here. Just kind of, observing this, but I kind of wanted to say something. I moved here about 4 years ago from Whitewater. Went to UW Whitewater down there. And when I moved here, I noticed right away that Whitewater had the same smell that this community does. Now, I'm not saying that, it's perhaps caused by unlimited renewables, but I've smelled the same smell all over Jefferson County. I smelled it in Johnson Creek, I smelled it in Watertown, smelled it in Waterloo, smelled it in Marshall, smelled it in Fort Atkinson, smelled it in Whitewater, and smelled it in Jefferson as well, too. It travels very, very far. So, just wanted to say that.
Thank you, sir. And did I read this one? Gene
No.
Williams left an I don't know.
No, not at this point.
Okay. I see someone's filling one out in the back, so we'll take a minute to wait for. Matt, did you fill out an appearance slip?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. You can sit here.
I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Kenneth Miller. I'm a medical internist. I come from Lake Mills, and I work at Port Atkinson, but I'm speaking not on behalf of myself and my family. This is not a statement made on behalf of my employer. I live on 1040 East Mills Drive. We were just due east of the facility. And I must tell you that I'm kind of new to this process. This is my first meeting, and I did arrive late. But we have in our neighborhood, we have on a regular occasion get the bad odor, very bad odor that produced from the plant in question. And we have some very grave concerns too, in the fact that we do have a H5N2 outbreak, and that facility does raise some real concerns about the type of biologicals that we could be inhaling, obviously downwind of this, but also just the long-term biological pollutants, even before the H5N2 outbreak. I have a daughter who has a condition called POTS disease. It's a very complex immune endocrine condition that was described by the Mayo Clinic at 1993, and she has received treatment in 1993. She had to have several weeks and months off of school. She was wheelchair bound about a year ago, and now she's doing much better. Whether this is related to this condition or not, no one I can't say, but certainly it does bring some concerns about the type of air and the quality of the air that we do breathe. Both as a father and husband to my wife, and bring up a family, but also professionally, and just in theory, just the idea of us inhaling, and the whole neighborhood inhaling these type of biologicals does raise some grave concern on my part. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So that concludes the comments from the people who've indicated that they would like to make a statement. Have I missed anyone? Okay, well, thank you for your attendance at today's hearing. The formal portion of the hearing is now closed, but the record will remain open through May 18th, 2015 for written comments. And will remain now for questions and answers. Thank you. We're off the record now.